the man of times. When we take a panoramic view of human history, we perceive the vague outline of an underlying pattern of man's destiny with its warnings and its hopes. There is a coming together of people of different nations, races, and creeds through improved means of travel, through the evolution of an international language and the introduction of mass media. This brings about conflict and rivalry owing to the predominantly primitive traits of mankind. Yet the very strife tires the spirit of man and forces him to learn to tolerate, understand, and fuse in a richer synthesis. Perhaps the same process is at work in India on a smaller scale. In the form of invasions, different races came to settle down in this country, and through initial rivalry they are already on the way to evolving a mighty synthesis. This is most predominantly noticed in the realm of the spirit of religion. Kabir and Nanak are types of this trend. The communal tension between Hindus and Muslims was accentuated in the early 20th century. Viewed in this context and background, Hazrat Tajuddeenbaba seems to be the luminary of the day, risen to rekindle and fulfill the same mission in modern India. While he was ministering to the need in the north, Sai Baba of Shirdi was doing the same work in the west of India. They were contemporaries, and what's more, they are a witness to the supernatural potentialities that are dormant in man, ready to be fully awakened, the truth which was demonstrated already by the great medieval saints, sages, and seers. But their authenticity came to be denied by the faddists of modernity. Viewed in the context of the foregoing paragraph, Baba Tajuddin's glorious mission assumes a dimension which is far superior to the narrow concept of personal salvation, devoid of any wider humanistic significance. He demonstrated that the saints are the only true witness to the truths of religion, that they cannot be tied down by dogma, bigotry, or ritual forms of religion. Though a Muslim by birth, the great saint never treated Hindus as aliens. He never criticized or condemned their faith, never discriminated against them in showering his grace and the gifts. Instances speak better than words. The Harijan's case. One Hanumantarao came to Baba Tajuddin and devoted himself totally to the worship of the saint. He learned that several Harijans were becoming Muslims and were benefiting by rendering service to the Baba. He was an employee in the secretariat, so he hoped that if he too became a Muslim, Baba Tajuddin would grace him. No sooner these thoughts arose in his mind than the Baba turned to him and asked him to get some book. Hanumantarao had a copy of the Bhagavad Gita with him, which he gave to the Baba. The saint glanced through it, turning it from side to side, and said, "What? We are in this?" Hanumantarao understood what the saint implied and was thrilled. The implication is that the spiritual truth of devotion to God leading to perfection, which Baba symbolized, is there in the Bhagavad Gita also, a Hindu scripture. He at once prostrated before Baba Tajuddin. Baba made no distinction between religions. He even indicated that the followers of all religions should adhere to their own traditions and that there was no need for anyone to become a Muslim for salvation or to earn his, that is, Baba's grace. Complaint of a Muslim. Once, during a communal strife, a Muslim complained to Baba Tajuddin that the Hindus were killing the Muslims and said, "Please save them." The saint grew furious and said, "Go away, none can kill a true Muslim." The implication is obvious. A Muslim is one who brings credit to the teachings of the Holy Prophet through complete trust and dependence on Allah, the Merciful, the Compassionate. All others are sinners and do not deserve to be called Muslims. Islam is like all the other revealed religions in that it is based on love and peace and not on hatred. Religion is only a means and God is the only end. Such a man of complete faith will be protected by God while on earth, and when the hour of death chosen by God arrives, the true devotee would attain immortality in heaven. No mortal can kill him. Only one who has no faith can be killed by another. Such is the profound meaning of Baba's terse reply. It is also relevant to note the readiness with which Baba Tajuddin graced the homes of two fortunate Hindus by his presence, Maharaja Raghoji Rao Bhonsle and Sri Kasinath Patel. The latter even worshipped him in traditional Hindu manner by applying sandal paste to his forehead and garlanding him, and the Baba never objected to it. This does not in the least mean that he preferred Hindu ways of worship as against the Islamic traditions. The Muslims followed their own ways and he accepted the same with equal grace. It is interesting to compare Tajuddin Baba's Catholic attitude with that of Sri Sai Baba of Shirdi. From his appearance, Sri Sai Baba was considered by most of his devotees to be a Muslim. Abdul Rangari, a Muslim devotee, asked Sai Baba, Baba, how is it that sandal paste is applied to you and you allow it? This is not our custom. Sai Baba replied, Jaisa Desh, Vaisa Vesh. That is, we have to dress according to the country we live in. The Hindus worship me as their god. I allow them to do so, but I myself am a devotee of God. Baba's indiscriminate love for all. As we have seen in the foregoing pages, some erring Muslims had contrived to trouble Maharaja Raghoji Rao by raising a hue and cry and by rousing communal passion and hatred. Although Baba Tajuddin had to leave the Maharaja's palace physically in order to avert communal clashes, did he not assure the prince, who can drive me from here? My bed will be in your house for lakhs of years. Indeed, later, when the immortal Tajuddin Baba laid down his physical body, did not the marble idols of Vitthal and Rukmani at Itwara Nagar shed tears for a full 12 hours and thus demonstrated that the grace of the great saint was there and could melt even marble stone into tears of sorrow? Thus, Tajuddin Baba did not merely acquiesce to the persistent practice of orthodox people. On the other hand, he demonstrated his transcendence over narrow factionalism by actively helping men of other religions also in their troubles and spiritual progress. Among his disciples was the great Parsi saint Meher Baba also, whom countless people hailed as a perfect spiritual master. And there was the Hindu sadhu Upasani Maharaj, the famous saint of Sakori. The spiritual attitude of Hazrat Baba Tajuddin is evident from the fact that he and Sri Sai Baba of Shirdi acted in tacit union in the shaping of several spiritual giants, and the two saints mentioned above, Upasani Baba and Meher Baba, are the products of their united efforts. This discussion will be incomplete unless a close picture of Tajuddin's attitude to his Muslim devotees is given here. Truth about Saint Mansur. One Sarfraz Hussaini was a very intimate visitor of Hazrat Tajuddin Baba. He could therefore ask him questions much more freely than others. One day he asked, Huzur, what is the truth about Sufi Saint Mansur, who was crucified for declaring Anal Haq, I am God? Is he recognized as a great saint? Baba Tajuddin replied, Yes son, he is a great saint, but he was a child. He opened his fist too soon. This fist of Tajuddin, he showed his fist as he said this, will not be opened till the day of judgment. He thereby implied that it is nature of saints to impress upon people the truth of their complete union with God and the identity that is thereby revealed to them. Yet he felt that they should not verbally proclaim the fact because it might set a bad example to less evolved ones and thus tempt them to hypocrisy. Mansur was a child in revealing his attainment verbally, which of course was true. But Tajuddin Baba never made a similar claim through his spiritual status, and attainments were not less exalted. Opening the fist implies revealing of divine secrets entrusted to great saints by the Almighty God to carry out their divine mission on earth. Distinction between I and He. Once at Sakardhara, Tajuddin Baba was strolling on the bank of a tank at about 2 p.m. He was followed by a group of devotees. One of them was one Chand Khan. The Baba stopped at the place and asked Chand Khan, "When such a great saint is going, why don't you recite any praise?" Chand Khan obeyed and sang a song which was a verse in praise. On hearing its last line, Baba suddenly said, "Keep quiet. You are hitting me with big stones." Chand Khan was surprised at this mysterious remark. The remark obviously implied that Baba Tajuddin could not stand the distinction between I and he in the sense of difference. He implied that the difference between the I and he must be annihilated in the Lord. He corrected them for confining divinity to his physical frame, for the Lord is immanent in all, including the devotees. This was the teaching of all great saints, that men should try to tear down the eel that hides his face. Sri Sai Baba of Shirdi also used to say, "Pull down the wall of difference and distinction." Great regard for the holy prophet. Mrs. Sultan Boy, a famous singer, once came from Banaras to Sakardhara for the darshan of the Baba. Whenever she visited him, she would sing in praise of his supreme qualities of sainthood. On this occasion also she sang describing Hazrat Imam Hussain as Shahan Shah, King of Kings. Baba heard and said, "I am he." On another occasion she was praising the holy prophet Muhammad as the Lord to whose waist a blanket was tied. Having seen him, everyone bows his head. When Baba Tajuddin heard this, he immediately tied a blanket around his own waist and said, "Mother, this is the throne of God." Then he fell into a state of trance while she continued her song, and all those present looked upon him as the Lord in that form. Lived by music. Like Chishti Sufi saints, Baba Tajuddin was also very fond of music. Once when some singers were singing in his presence, he was overpowered with ecstasy, so much so that he took the bells, tied them to his feet, and started dancing and singing. On another occasion, he was lost in ecstasy for 3 days and did not come out of the Lalkoti palace, which disappointed over 1,000 visitors who were waiting for his darshan. Then Hazrat Hakim Nayamuddin called a courtesan named Lakshmi Boy and asked her to sing devotional songs. She sang the following song, inviting the Baba to come out. "None is watching. Come, my beloved. How can the blind and the ignorant see you? Come, my beloved." On hearing the concluding lines of this song, Baba came out on the balcony. Lakshmi Bai went on repeating the same line, which made the Baba swing in tune with it. And at last, in the same state of ecstasy, he came down to the satisfaction of the waiting visitors. It is this ecstasy which the Sufi dervishes call hal and the Hindus call samadhi, or total annihilation of senses. His teachings. It is useful to note some of his teachings to his devotees. Once a fakir wanted to become Baba Tajuddin's disciple and sought the initiation. The Baba replied, "Kill the dog and get. We will eat it together." Because the saint knew that the fakir was immersed in worldly desires, which he called a dog. The holy prophet Muhammad made the same comparison. "This world is like a corpse and dogs only search for it." The Holy Quran also says, "One who searches for the world is a woman. One who searches for destruction is a eunuch. But the one who searches for God is the only man." The Baba evidently advised the fakir to kill his desires so that he might get his real reward. Another seeker complained before the Baba, "Master, my mind is caught up in duality." He replied, "It is because the 6 wicked ones have taken shelter in your heart." loneliness is needed to be free of them. On another occasion, Baba clarified that solitude does not lie in the forest, but even while being in the world, the mind should be alone, aloof of all worldly enticements. To another devotee who made the same complaint, the Baba said, "Free the captive pigeons," which implied that his desires, like the captive pigeons, are making noise in his heart and that driving them out is the only way to leave the heart quiet and clear, as expressed in these lines. Do your duties eating your food. Virakti is not withdrawing from duty. Keep away those things that keep your thoughts away from the Lord. That is Virakti. Chand Khan, a great magician, came from Indore to meet this great saint who would come out even through a securely locked door and saw him at Waki. He stayed for many days in his holy company. One day, Baba, who was sweeping the whole place himself, asked Chand Khan to do likewise and said, "I am with you." Henceforth, Chand Khan used to sweep the dargah. Once, the saint noticed by his intuitive power that Chand Khan was eager to earn money by singing. He warned him not to do so. Music is a wonderful means to experience divine bliss and not to earn one's livelihood.